Welcome to video 11 of the Wildly Successful Enterprises video series. I'm Dawn Holly Johnson, the creator of the Wildly Successful Enterprises program and author of What CEOs Need to Know. And today we're going to continue our conversation around working in a two-dimensional world. In case you haven't noticed, inside of the 5 flawed assumptions that we just walked through over the last 5 videos, they're all focused on people and technology. And this is common. Most organizations are firing on what I call 2 cylinders instead of 3. They're focusing on people and technology. Let me give you an analogy of trying to cook a fantastic meal. Let's say you're in business to deliver a culinary delight. And as you develop this recipe to deliver this amazing culinary delight, so you start hiring experts in your business. What we all do in business is we begin to divide our people up into functions. Welcome to video 11 of the Wildly Successful Enterprises video series. I'm Dawn Holly Johnson, the creator of the series and also the author of What CEOs Need to Know. And today in video 11, we're going to talk about why most startups fail and established businesses underperform. Now, this is all related to the 5 flawed assumptions that we've just discussed over the last 5 videos. Let's talk about this a little bit. In case you didn't catch on inside talking about the 5 flawed assumptions, the assumptions that we make are all around people and technology. Typically, organizations are focused, I call it firing on 2 cylinders, on people and technology. But that's a failed attempt at being able to run an organization. The number one reason startups fail and businesses underperform is because of this. Let's say you birth a new idea and you work hard to develop this concept, to create a viable offering in the world. And you test this concept, you make sure it's not only viable, but the marketplace is hungry for it. Now, you have developed a powerful recipe to produce a viable offering. And with some sweat equity and some funding, you're ready to cook. So you form your company and you hire experts to lead various functions to produce your recipe. See, this is where the failure begins. This is normal, but it's where the failure begins. Now, your amazing recipe is now being divided up amongst various functional areas, and each of your experts, chefs we'll call them, work on making a piece of this recipe, and each chef can improve their piece of the recipe however they please and at any time. Now, after a while, there is not one chef in the company who understands the entire recipe, and this is leading to poor decision making and weak company performance. Now, these are award-winning chefs that you hired, and how can we be underperforming? Well, any great chef will tell you that a culinary masterpiece is created from fine-tuning the recipe. But in our traditional company, our recipe is no longer even the focus. There are ingredients that are not mixing together well now, and everyone is expecting a different outcome based on how they change their part of the recipe. Now, when the company is not delivering these wonderful meals, or the meals are delayed, the chefs will begin to blame the cooks, people, and the environment, technology. Since the company has invested in people and technology to make the culinary delight, then it must be people and technology that are keeping us from making it great, no? So we spend our precious capital retraining, firing, hiring people, and reprogramming technology. And from all of this expended effort, we experience little to no improvement. So we believe we must invest even more in, guess what? People and technology. And the cycle continues. Now, the outcome for startups, you burn through your capital far faster than you planned. This is why 50% of startups fail within the first 4 years. Now, for established businesses, well, they never come close to reaching their maximum potential. Ever heard the term, this is a recipe for disaster? So let's talk about what the missing dimension is. What is rarely considered in traditional organizations is that the recipe has evolved in silos over time and no longer has integrity. The recipe will never deliver. This is how Businesses are traditionally designed to function, though. It's not a very smart way to go. So we start with an amazing recipe that produces a great result. And as the business grows, we divide that recipe up and we hire more experts to improve parts of the recipe. Another famous saying comes to mind: too many cooks spoil the broth. Now, just because someone is an expert in a particular area, that may not mean that they are the best at knowing how to change the recipe or knowing how the overall recipe is being affected. But traditionally, we focus on people and technology. We work in a two-dimensional world. Now, let's talk about how to create a wildly successful enterprise. It is the combination of 3 dimensions that produce a great outcome. Number 1, a good recipe, which is a list of accurately measured ingredients, clear instructions on how to prepare each ingredient, and how and when to combine them in the proper order. In other words, a measured, proven process. Number 2, well-trained cooks, people who follow that recipe, the measured, proven process. And the right tools, technology for the job to make the recipe. Technology should enable the process, never dictate it. Now, following the recipe or process is what has us deliver a predictable result. So the recipe process had better be well-defined, repeatable, and measurable. Now, it takes focusing on all 3 dimensions: people, process, and technology. But the order is critical. Process must come first. Now, you may exclaim, but people are important. How can you put them in second place? Well, if you don't give people good processes to work, then you really don't care about your people. We assume the experts we hire will design great processes, and that is a flawed assumption. They are not the process experts. They are functional experts. So I've developed a few quotes over the last few years as I've spoken publicly about these concepts. And one is, our processes are the conduits to all the value delivered in the world. So we best take care of them. And the other is, experts only perform as well as the processes they follow. To learn more about the Wildly Successful Enterprises program, visit wildlysuccessfulenterprises.com. Take a 3-minute assessment and determine how close your organization is to meeting its maximum potential. And if you want to get the book, What CEOs Need to Know, please visit donhollyjohnson.com. Thank you so much. A like and a share is always appreciated. And until next time, be well.